If you've been on Twitter or Facebook recently, you've probably seen a new campaign called KONY 2012.
It's gone viral.
1 million hits per hour.
Times.
100 million people have now watched.
Social media at its best.
It's uniting people all across the world.
Is this the new way to move the world to action?
But this movie is not without critics.
Critics say the film manipulates the facts.
Simplifying the story.
Oversimplifying a wildly complex issue.
The message is too late.
Joseph KONY and his forces have been significantly reduced.
Pro-war activism.
Utterly naive to
By next week, this will be a passing fad.
These white Westerners sort of getting on a bandwagon, and actually they haven't got a clue what they're talking about.
Let those who are professors write their books and create academic awareness, but this one grabs you by your gut and shakes you until you are forced to pay attention. That's the essence of awareness. People are now paying attention.
Awareness, number one. Number two, action and way forward.
Beaucoup de peuples congolais de situés de cette zone, vraiment, beaucoup sont partis comme ça, ont disparu. Ils sont morts. KONY doit être arrêté.
As long as we continue giving days and months and years to Joseph KONY, we should be prepared for the worst.
The idea behind KONY 2012 is not new. In 2005, world leaders unanimously agreed at the United Nations to uphold the responsibility to protect. This states that every single person on the planet has inherent rights that should be defended against the worst crimes against humanity, first by our own countries, and then by the global community, no matter where we live. Although most of the world has agreed to this in theory, in far too many cases, we have failed to live up to our promise. But for the first time in history, the people of the world can see each other and want to protect each other. And this changes everything. This is why we made KONY 2012. And 1 month later, we are releasing this film to explain the creation of the campaign, the progress that's already been made, and what we can all do now to support the ongoing efforts to stop the violence of the LRA.
The world should know that this war is complex. If it wasn't complex, it wouldn't have stayed for 26 years. I have been in the forefront from day one with the filmmakers.
I felt that this can be an opportunity for someone else to see what was in northern Uganda.
My name is Ben Kesey. In 2004, I was just beginning my career in corporate accounting. But then I saw Invisible Children's first film, and my path was changed forever. I asked Jason and the other founders of Invisible Children what I could do to help. And they asked me to help lead their team and come with them back to Uganda to document stories of kids affected by the war. And Jolie, who introduced us to the conflict, had a vision for how we could help.
I felt that let's do something and let the world know. That is why our advocacy has been very strong.
So while Jolie launched Invisible Children's programs on the ground, we came home, and in 2005, began telling true stories with our friends affected by LRA violence. Because we have seen that stories can change lives and inspire young people toward action.
It's never occurred to me that there's people in a worse situation than me, like they have to fear for their lives every day.
And you'll definitely see me. I'll be doing something about it.
I started thinking about how their life was and how my life was. I feel like I'm the one who needs to be in there helping them.
It essentially allows those kids to understand what it's like to feel beyond themselves. The global community is literally in their backyard.
I've never seen our kids like this, ever. And now it's a huge part of their lives.
It becomes our duty as humans to spread awareness of inhumane conditions in the world anywhere.
The war is not about to end unless people like you, people like us, stand up and speak.
It is being driven by youth, going on the forefront.
It is for me a dream. It's a dream. It's the idea we're a global community, protecting each other.
When we made our 11th film, KONY 2012, the LRA was committing atrocities in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, and South Sudan. And they still are. The goal of KONY 2012 is to make that known and rally the world in support of the effort to finally stop the LRA violence. That started with making KONY famous. And you did that. We've hardly been able to keep up.
The San Diego office has been so busy.
Over the past 2 weeks, we've been responding to thousands and thousands of emails, people wanting more information.
200 calls every 2 minutes from supporters trying to be involved.
And 2 weeks after KONY 2012 launched, 2 bipartisan resolutions supporting the effort to disarm the LRA were introduced into the House and Senate and have now been signed by nearly 100 members of Congress. And what had started primarily in North America began to spread around the world. And because of the global response, the support and accountability for the ongoing effort to stop the LRA is at an all-time high.
I do believe, my lords, that with the necessary political will and logistic support, he can be arrested.
You've been pushing and pushing and writing letters. Let me tell you, it's working.
But now, let's take action.
And in March of 2012, the African Union, which is made up of nearly every country on the continent, recently announced it will step up its commitment and unite the efforts of Uganda, DRC, CAR, and South Sudan.
The Peace and Security Council of the African Union has approved the launch of a 5,000-strong regional force meant to track down the elusive LRA leader, Joseph KONY.
The mission we have is to stop Mr. KONY from bringing more suffering to the people of the affected areas.
The most important thing that you can do right now is to ask your leaders to support these ongoing efforts. And then, on April 20th, join us wherever you are, wherever you live, for Cover the Night. Progress is being made, and we are not stopping. But neither is the LRA.
Since the LRA left Uganda in 2006, they have been very active in Central African Republic, Equatorial Sudan, and the Congo.
Since 2008, the LRA has killed over 2,400 people. And in the 4 weeks since KONY 2012 launched, they have reportedly abducted 57 more. And while the LRA's size is only around 250 fighters, their capacity for destruction remains disproportionately large, currently displacing 440,000 people. And they are still, right now, holding captive hundreds of women and children.
Ils ont enlevé les enfants. Au total, c'était 280 têtes congolais.
Tuye KONY tosalaki na nini biso ba congolais bazi kozonga na bana na biso na zamba.
S'il faut envoyer un message à KONY, laisser la population tranquille, de ne plus continuer à tuer et à piller la population.
The LRA is a highly mobile, well-trained, violent rebel group with no achievable political purpose. And the traditional means used to stop them have not worked. Despite this, incredible efforts have been made by religious and political leaders to negotiate a peaceful solution. Yet each time negotiations were put on the table, they were unable to stop LRA violence. And most recently, KONY exploited the Juba peace talks to resupply and build back his forces through mass abductions.
The lesson learned is they commit the crimes again. That's the point. KONY, different times, propose peace and then just regain strength and attack. These guys are committing crimes as a normal way to get power.
As such now, KONY is very close here. He's like a kilometer away, but he cannot accept. It's difficult.
It pains you?
Yeah, everyone is so disappointed. People want to cry. CNN, Al Jazeera, BBC were all there to witness the war end, but KONY did not come out, and that was the most disappointing thing. 5 times the peace process has failed. So anyone come up with a formula of how KONY should be stopped is welcome, because the children have to come back home.
People are saying, let us forgive you, but for him he doesn't want. So it's like you are trying to forgive someone who doesn't want.
The Ugandan military has tried many times as well, and has pursued the LRA across borders, drastically reducing their capacity. But a military-only solution has not been successful either. And recently, an operation in 2008 led to significant reprisal attacks by the LRA against civilians. Learning from these challenges of the past is crucial to achieve success going forward.
Everyone across the board will agree is a complex one, and it requires a multi-pronged approach.
Invisible Children is just one of many organizations on the ground, and we were not the first. Stopping the LRA violence is possible, but it will take increased support for the comprehensive efforts conceived and led by local leaders. Many of the communities vulnerable to attacks have no way to be warned of LRA movements. In response, local partners are building an early warning radio network.
Les projets d'alerte précoce. Et voilà que ce rêve s'est réalisé aujourd'hui.
If there is a radio communication, it gives enough time to save lives.
KONY and his top commanders use paralyzing fear tactics to discourage escape. So local partners are using FM radio broadcasts and flyers to send messages directly to the LRA about how to escape.
Je suis le fondateur de la radio Zereda, ce qui est bon. Comme on a reçu des témoignages d'un combattant qui nous a témoigné, qui nous a suivis, et il était sorti, je me suis à l'aise.
We were contacted by the UN, who asked us to design flyers that would be culturally sensitive and reach out to the LRA directly.
It gives them hope. A wife of Joseph KONY defected from CAR because she saw the flyer.
Supporting rehabilitation in the communities currently affected by the LRA is crucial.
Il y a eu des centaines et des centaines d'enfants qui ont été enlevés par la LRA. Il faut un accompagnement psychosocial, l'aider à s'intégrer dans la communauté.
Invisible Children has committed to build a rehabilitation center, which the first phase is finished.
Supporting reconstruction in the post-conflict areas in northern Uganda is also crucial for lasting peace.
When you have had 20 years of war, you don't just fix that in a few months, a few years.
Business is booming because there's peace now in northern Uganda. The community in Acholiland take ownership of their own community.
It is very important to invest in education.
Since 2005, over 4,000 students have benefited from our program.
I wanted to be a lawyer since I was still in primary level. Right now I'm achieving it. I joined a law firm. I want to promote justice in my community. I want to promote justice in the whole world.
These first three steps are critically important, but unless Joseph KONY and his top commanders surrender or are arrested, their atrocities will not stop.
The ICC has indicted Joseph KONY, but they don't have an army. They're waiting for KONY to face justice. But how does justice happen?
I am dealing with the state parties and international community. There is no legal obstacle. There is no problem. Go and arrest KONY tomorrow is perfect.
The efforts of joint military force trying to look for KONY, to me, I think that is the best way forward.
When there is a threat to international peace and security, and last I checked, when something's threatening 4 different countries, that's a threat to international peace and security. Then it becomes a question of collective responsibility. It is not the sole responsibility of the Ugandan military to go chasing a rebel group 4 different countries and try to catch them.
Strengthening ongoing efforts of the African Union and regional governments is the best way to apprehend top LRA leadership, and is something that every country in the world can support.
We are determined, we are resolved, and we are going to pursue Mr. KONY, and still we open the door for him to surrender.
Telling your leaders that you care is critical for the success of these efforts. Your voice changes everything.
Despite the fact that LRA is not a threat to my personal safety and my family, I still feel the pain. I don't want history to repeat itself. I don't want the children in Congo innocently to continue suffering. These children need to come back and have a normal life. Why would I stop?
A child in Congo, Central African Republic, should be treated the same way a child in the US or in Europe is treated. Peace building is not about one person. Everyone has a role to play.
People get power and the first thing they do is to hold on to that power. And I just want to see our generation just release it to everybody else.
Because they believe that that sense of equality is possible.
Together, we can show the future generation a life beyond conflict.
We're going to be the leaders of tomorrow, and it's up to us to show people what we can do, and I think we're doing that now.
We are changing the world, guys. This is completely new. It's a revolution. It will be in the books of history.
We will not dismiss the problems of our friends simply because they are not our own. We don't live like that anymore. And this is only the beginning, because stopping injustice around the world is far bigger than stopping the LRA. My story led me to this purpose. Wherever your story leads you, go there. We can all do our part, where we are, with what we have. We are a new generation of justice, made for such a time as this, because our liberty is bound together, across the world and across the street.